Now live at GM table, and I am Andy, and these are my players. Hey everyone, good morning. It's Saturday morning. We are playing Transformers: The Regenesis Wars. We're using Savage Worlds. There are a few different ways that you guys can get involved. 100 bits gives someone a Benny, 500 bits gives everyone a Benny, or draws a table adventure card that can be played at any time by any one player as long as everyone agrees on it. That being said, we'll go right into introductions. Let me plug one thing. We're actually doing a kind of short demo play of a new RPG whose name is escaping me because there are so many. But we're playing with a few new people, and
is it Survive This?
Survive This Fantasy.
Survive This Fantasy.
Yes. Survive This Fantasy, and we've got a few guest stars, so that'll be fun. And that will be tonight. And then, we'll just go right into introductions, and we'll start with Ewan.
Hi, I'm Ewan. I'm playing Andrew today. And this is the only place you can see me, so get all you can.
And are we doing character introductions too?
Yeah, you can do a little bit about your character too.
Okay. Andrew's is the scavenger of the group. He'll make do with anything he can.
Hence the reason he's hanging around with Kate.
Yeah, exactly.
You have the cool toys.
Oh no, I was saying you'll make do with whatever you can. As far as civilization
cool
goes,
toys.
Kate's not the greatest example, but she's all you've got.
So.
Civilization. I've got a gun.
And then we have Christian. Christian, tell us about yourself. I'm going to let you introduce Ash when you come in, okay?
Well, my name's Christian. I'll be playing the mysterious Ash. This is my first time ever streaming, so it's something I'm really looking forward to. I've been watching these guys for a few weeks now, and I've played with Ewan and Andy for about a year now on another game that we play through a different game system. So I'm really looking forward to trying this one out. I've always been a fan of Transformers and since I was a little kid. So
awesome. And now we are going to go to Kurt, who looks somewhat like me. You may have noticed, and that's because that's my twin. And yeah, there you go.
My name's Kurt. I'll be playing Gale. I am an escape science experiment. I am volunteered for a study at the local school that landed me in some deep trouble, and I found this group of ragtag people and their pet robots, and am learning interesting new different things about all of the experiments that were performed on my character. I'm not entirely human anymore. Let's do that.
Yep, perfect. Okay, now Lyrica, you.
Hello, I'm Lyrica. I've been around here for honestly not that long, but I've been around on a lot of streams lately. I'm starting to cut down that because I'm looking at buying a house at the end of this year, which is gonna take all of my life. In this game, I'm playing Kate, which is the small, rambunctious, ADHD mechanic slash prepper, I guess, would be kind of what she is. Who tends to give everybody heart attacks on a regular basis, either because she's running towards something she shouldn't, or because she's taking apart something she shouldn't.
Or exploding something she shouldn't.
Yeah.
Oh, no. When I explode something, I mean to.
Also true. So now we're going to Flip.
Hi everybody, I'm Flip, Agent of Chaos, and I play Dr. Tetra Batara, who previously worked for KSI. I don't, unfortunately, think she has her job anymore at this point, despite my best efforts. I don't really have anything else to say. We'll see more as we play, I suppose.
Okay, so going right into the game. You guys have decided you've stopped in a town. You've just ran into Red Alert.
Are we not doing a recap?
Oh, yeah, right, of course. Thank you for the reminder. If someone wants to do a full recap of the last session, they will get a Benny.
Not me, I'm exhausted.
Sure. Oh, wait. I have notes!
So that will
Okay,
You're
I'm
up.
sorry.
That will be
I'm sorry, I'm
Lyrica.
tired.
That was Kate's volunteer.
Yep, okay.
All right. So I have to go through like all of my new people.
Yes, I have my cheat sheet as well here.
There was, of course, the whole situation with the metal structures popping up in Egypt, and then the next morning, London. And that's where we opened up, was that next morning in London. We were trying to figure out what we were going to do from there when I think somebody heard the sound of vehicles getting closer, but it was odd because the traffic wasn't functioning correctly in the background. And it turned out that we were being tracked down by what we later found out was a Decepticon, or not a Decepticon, a bounty hunter. The third party, not on one side or the other, but a bounty hunter for Quintessons? I'm not sure if I said that right. That's how I
You sure did say it right.
wrote it down.
Uh-huh.
Named Lockdown, who was a black Porsche. Very pretty car. Followed by a couple other large SUVs, black SUVs. Which ensued in a dramatic task, which was a car chase. So that was fun.
By our power combined, we escaped.
Yeah. Between Gale using his space lasso, and Tetra tried to take off his head when she saw that. That was interesting.
Needed to go.
And continued to try for quite a while.
continued to try for a while.
Has not given.
And has not given up. And then I did something else. Anyway, so we got out of that by the skin of our teeth, or actually not that bad. I think we did something, and it stopped him in his tracks because we got like 2 extra successes over what we needed, or we succeeded with an extra success like a round before we were supposed to. So that was awesome.
He got stuck on the other side of the city gates.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that now. I didn't do details.
No, that's good. You're doing great. You are doing great.
And then we got out, and about the time we all stopped, we all raced out into the middle of somewhere, I don't remember, and tried to figure out what we were going to do.
We found like a ran downtown outside of the city gates, and we took shelter in an old theater. Is that right? An old movie theater.
Yep.
I thought it was like a Broadway theater.
It was like, yeah, a Broadway theater that they
Okay.
converted to a movie
Live
theater.
stage work.
Yeah.
Nice.
Where's my
So
mark?
we took shelter there, at which point Gale was trying to fend off Tetra from taking off his head again.
I gotta know what's inside of it.
And
The only
Huck
way we can do
figured
that is
out that
exploratory
there was
surgery.
probably, since he was from the KSI situation, and they were talking about how, or Kate mentioned how Sunstreaker, both Sunstreaker and Gale, had the same little port in the back. They decided that they were a triple changer, I think, where you had the Sunstreaker has two, and then Gale was supposed to be somehow able to connect through into that conglomerate, because they were set up to do that. But because he was KSI, we thought he might have a tracking device. But the only way to get that out, or some way to make sure that he wasn't being tracked, was a medic, basically, from the Transformers, Autobots specifically. At which point we decided we were going to go south to Louisiana bayous, because Tetra got a call from one of the guys back at her work, and I don't remember his name. I didn't write that down, I'm sorry.
Let me see, do I have it? No, I do not either.
It was Barley, Ireland.
Barley.
Wait, Barley.
Barley Irish, that's right. Got a hold of him, or he got a hold of her and let her know that there was a specific type of ore that they had been working on, and they had found another vein or another area of it down in Louisiana. So we decided to go and try and hit that first and get there first, at which point we knew we wouldn't be able to do this all alone. We needed more backup, so we had Shortwave send out a frequency to all of the hidden Autobots to meet us at that location, and then we were going to try and figure out a way to get the whatever it was, the tracker, out of Gale before we got there, so that we could send it off into the cosmos and send them off on a wild goose chase, we're hoping. Although they know the location of the ore, still it gives us a chance of a surprise if we show up there. At which point, I think an ambulance started showing, started coming up, and everybody, like, Kate was ready to pack up and leave again, and Cup was like, no, I recognize those sirens. And that was Red Alert, the ambulance, who's in the back little picture there behind Tetra. And she, with her help and Tetra's help and Kate's help, apparently, little bits of help, mostly just giving her information on the KSI, and then the
I got like a 30 on my research.
Yeah.
I know, 31. I got like a 20 something or another. It was
insane.
insane.
Yeah.
And yeah, mine was just, okay, well, I've worked a lot with this and I've put people together, so this is the way they've changed this. Anyway, so we got that out, and as she was about to step on it, we were like, no!
I'm just gonna point out when my character, with all her PhDs and science backgrounds, tries to perform experimental exploratory surgery, it's considered monstrous. But when a sentient ambulance comes in and performs exploratory surgery, suddenly it's genius. I'm just saying.
Yeah, because their patient survives.
But
Yours doesn't.
Between myself and the sentient ambulance, one of us has a PhD.
Yeah.
And the other knows how to heal people.
That's funny. Okay,
No,
so
one of them has a doctorate. If you have a doctorate, you're not useful. You have a doctorate and you just sit there, as opposed to being a doctor. Very different.
So I guess, yeah, good recap. That's great. Right before she stepped on it, you guys wanted to get rid of the tracker, and get it working again.
Reactivated it as a decoy later.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we'll start right from there. As she hands you back the tracker, and she's like, okay, well, we've got some time, I think.
And I would hold it up and look and be like, what else is in there?
Eat it.
Probably too much.
Put it in.
You don't actually want
Thanks,
to know, mate.
Kate.
Well, I mean, realistically, that was in what? Like the crook of your elbow? That's one little space. Look, how much space you have all over your body. You could be full of mysteries. I mean, you already have a space lasso. It's really cool. This whole idea is really cool.
I still think we need to see how his neck is connected to his head.
Nah, we'll figure
And
that out
I
later.
think you need to leave motivational speaking out of your repertoire.
Well, you'll likely survive. I have no reason to suspect that you won't.
So I think that you should also, if you guys want to investigate that, you can all roll your science hacking.
Oh yeah, let me get that up with a science roll. Actually, can I do research on Gale's head?
Research. Yep. That
No.
helps too.
Can I have a break first? Can I volunteer for just one surgery a night, please?
No, research time. It's a 5.
Can I do an electronics?
Yeah.
Look at that little thing.
Yeah. Are you looking at it on him or on Sunstreaker?
Oh, I'm definitely looking at Sunstreaker.
Okay.
Thank you.
Gale's got enough problems. He's just went through a traumatic experience. Kate's like,
I'm still
no,
like,
I'm just gonna swarm up the. I'm gonna just swarm up the other one. This is
and I'm
fine.
like slapping away Tetra's hands. And she's like reaching, like, I'm going to try.
So, Tetra, upon your further investigation, you would realize that maybe it wouldn't be so easy to take his head off because it's kind of got this seam that makes you think that there are a bunch of smaller pieces underneath a panel.
That does sound complicated. Well,
Like
time to
the-
get the saw.
Like
Oh,
the
no.
chassis of a computer. Chassis.
Cassie?
Chassis.
Yeah.
Okay, I will stop trying to remove Gale's head for now.
Okay.
For
This-
now.
For this moment,
Um,
we will see how things go as time continues.
Okay, Kate, as you scramble up Sunstreaker, you see the same thing. You lift up one of his neck armor plates and you're looking under that, and it looks like it's wired into his very central nervous system, so to speak.
Oh, so his central core processor basically is wired the same way.
He is wired into this port. It
Interesting.
We
Tampering
should
with it
scan
could cause-
Sunstreaker as well.
scan Sunstreaker. Yeah, okay.
Oh,
First
yeah,
crack
that's
at
a good idea.
Very good idea. I'm actually going to
Yes.
give you a Benny for that. And
I look at Sunstreaker and I'm like, Tag, you're it.
and don't forget to check your adventure cards, you guys. I redealt those
Yep.
to you.
And you know what? We should scan me too, since myself and Megan both work for KSI.
Yeah.
Everybody with contact with KSI.
Megan
get
is
scanned
going
at this
to subject herself to scanning as well. Now, Flip, why don't you give me a common knowledge? Awesome.
That's a
So
7.
you're thinking on KSI, you remember that they did make you go through an unusually lengthy physical exam process. You had to prove to be very healthy to work there, which always begged the question, how in the world did Barley Ireland get a job there?
You know, I was actually just thinking the same thing.
So you're quite sure that more of his blood is Mountain Dew than it is actually blood. So you would remember this, and who are you going to get to scan you? Are you going to
Red Alert.
Yep, okay. All
Yeah,
right,
I
so-
go straight to Red Alert. I'm like, what up? We need myself, Megan, and Sunstreaker all scanned.
She's like,
because we were all in contact with KSI, and I'm not about that life.
she's
I mean, I miss my job, but at this point, I suspect KSI may be evil. And
Only suspect.
listen, I had a great job. It was well paying. I had a wonderful condo. I loved my job. It turns out that sometimes your employer is,
A shithead.
art
My how
imitates
the
life.
tables have turned.
so that you walk up to her and you say that, and she's like, "Oh, doubtful. I am unaware of. I mean, I can scan you and find it, but then what?
Remove it.
You are 100% flesh. Is
I
there?
can check if I just pull on her head a little bit.
It wouldn't be in my head. It'd be in one of my limbs.
Is there one amongst you who is talented with human medical procedures?
That's me.
Are you feeling okay? Can you assist me in removing tracking devices?
I am a nurse, not a surgeon, but I've seen it done quite a bit.
She nods and she's like, that will have to do then. And she's like, please lay down on the table.
I do that.
And again, she pops off the little containers on her belt and places them on the table, and they transform into various living surgical instruments. One moves over and it looks to be somewhat of a microscope, but the lenses of the eyes, or the lenses of the microscope become the eyes, and they glow a blue as it begins to move up and down First Flip's body. You are not tagged with a tracker.
Damn.
And the same thing would happen with Megan, but then she would turn and look to Sunstreaker, and
You just tag to high hell.
he does have a tag within him.
Because Andy thinks he's going to come here and keep tracking us. Not
Yeah.
today, Andy.
Yep. And so this one is going to be rather difficult to remove. It's almost as if, and well, I'll give you guys additional rolls to figure this out, but you get Sunstreaker to lay out on the ground, the table. There's no way that's going to support him. And they actually have you come over as well, Kate and Flip, or Kate and Tetra both, for your knowledge, and if she needs extra hands. And so where this is, it is very much tied to his spark itself, the very his core energy processor.
I'm gonna attempt to connect with him to try to distract him / comfort him.
Okay.
And
I like that. Give me a spirit. Nice. So you kind of lay down next to him and look over at him like, it'll be okay, you know? Look, I will stay right here. And you're kind of maybe even communicating the way that you were back at the lab. And as you relax into this, your core opens and it slides out and creeps across the floor and connects to his neck. And everyone who is gathered around, give me a notice. Okay, awesome. So, Andrew, you would probably notice first.
Okay.
So you would probably notice this thing creeping across the floor, plugging into Sunstreaker, right? But everyone else is really focused on where this tracker is, and they all eventually notice, but you see something interesting on Gale, and it's almost as if his arms and legs appear to be metal for a moment.
We need to remove them and examine them. I don't say that in game. That is an adequate comment.
Is it
Luckily, I'm zoned out.
Yeah,
that is a flip encouragement of the deliminization of Gale.
So you guys would notice this too. Now give me a you can do, honestly, hacking, anything technological really that you can find a way to apply technologically. Research, Tetra. Yep, I was like, wow, I'm surprised. Okay,
No, I
cool.
don't. I don't take 3s on my research.
Right. Okay.
Any-
And
No.
and it really depends on how focused you are. If you are just like set on getting this thing out of Sunstreaker, then maybe you don't notice. You don't have to roll to see if you
The
understand.
moment something weird happens, Tetra is like, whatever. Other people are going to handle Sunstreaker. This is cool.
Meh. She's too focused on that.
Okay,
She's too
awesome.
focused on Sunstreaker. She's more interested in him anyway.
So Tetra, you have been focused on Gale a lot, and so you move over to Gale, and you see this. But what's really interesting is you see more of these little seams on his skin that you hadn't noticed before, and the metal is folding out from those, as if he himself is transforming. You're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. You said it's like folding out.
Yeah, like it almost like
Um,
it's folding, like an armor suit is folding up out of his skin.
Yeah, cool. There's like a screwdriver nearby, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Not. I already hear people's objections to this. That's great. Not forcefully, but certainly enough to prevent it from folding back in. I'm just going to slip the screwdriver into one of the holes.
Okay.
And if I meet resistance, I'm going to stop. I'm not trying to hurt Gale.
Right.
What I am trying to do is stop that from hiding.
I'll believe that when I see it.
I'm doing it gently.
Okay.
It's, you're slipping it in so that, like, if it folded open, it can't fold back shut.
Yeah.
I'm
Right. Laying it
just
across
lodging it
the
open.
opening or something. Yeah. So, give me a dexterity, just so you're being gentle with the
where is
screwdriver.
dexterity?
Should be up at the or agility. I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Okay, that one makes more sense. A 4. Is that a fail? Do I need a 5?
No, that
Yeah,
is
you need
a
a 4.
success. You needed a 4. So,
Okay.
So you do, and you prevent this plate from going down back into its spot. And what you see inside of his arm is more mechanical than flesh.
Yeah. I'm going to keep that screwdriver there. Once the tracker's out, this is the next thing I want people to look at.
And, okay, so you doing that causes almost like somewhat of a short, and the rest of whatever limb you jammed it in. Which limb is that, by the way?
Whatever limb. I'll let Gale choose.
Arm.
The arm is what the came from, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say arm. Like, don't man every appendage I have. This is through enough.
So leg? You want to say leg?
No, I said just use the same arm.
Use
as
the same
tracker.
arm. Oh, okay, okay. So you stop this from happening, and it
Oh, no,
ca-
I'm not trying to stop it from happening. I'm stopping it from reverting.
Right, yeah, right, from
Yeah.
reverting, and so
I don't want him to take his human form again.
yeah, and so what happens is that limb in particular go ahead to prevent any sort of what you can imagine would be like system damage or transformation damage.
Yeah, I am definitely trying to prevent damage, and if I see damage, I'm pulling out.
Yeah, right. And so it kind of has its own...
I'm not evil, I just have the curious trait.
Right, yeah, for sure. And so it has its own kind of sense of preservation. And the arm remains transformed into this very robotic, like, gauntlet and hand.
Okay. Does Gale appear to be harmed by this process?
He doesn't even seem to notice.
So then the screwdriver's dying. I'm assuming there's like some medical or duct tape nearby. So since nobody's really noticing, I'm gonna go ahead and secure the screwdriver for further investigation after we deal with Sunstreaker.
Okay, why don't you give me another agility and
No.
Okay.
Okay. There we go.
Brace it.
You see, Gale, don't say I never did anything nice for you.
I'm
that
not knowing anything that's happening, actually.
That Benny was for your benefit. You get to keep your arm today.
So, you guys working on Sunstreaker with the Red Alert. She's got basically his whole chest opened up right now. Gale, you are somewhere else with him mentally, in another time, another place, maybe his memories. And you're on an alien planet with tall metal structures. There is a war raging outside of whatever building you're in. You can hear gunshots and shouts and explosions. It's just total chaos. You see what you can only imagine are civilians that are obviously Transformers, fleeing to their homes and buildings amongst this city.
I walk up beside. I'm like, where are we? When are we?
He's like, a very long time ago. A very far away place. This is my home, he says. And you see next to him a Transformer that looks oddly like him with a glistening red plate armor. And he's got two long swords that he's holding in each hand. And he busts through one of the doors out into the battle and is just laying into people. And Sunstreaker rushes forward and he's like, no, sideswipe, not on your own. He's so hot-headed, he says, and kind of takes off after him. He always gets himself in trouble. And then we are going to go to Red Alert, who's now... Before you see this glowing, almost fusion energy orb, and that's Kate and Flip, who are kind of leaning over him. And she asks you, Kate, if you can clamp off something for her. Mm-hmm. And so one of the little mini bots moves forward, and one of his arms transforms into the utensil you need and hands it to you, while it goes back to do what it was working on, which is clamping off some of the other structures that almost like she has you clamping off. And she's like, I hope your friend's okay in there. This could hurt. And so why don't you give me your electronics, Kate?
Or my repair or electronics?
Repair. Whichever one. Repair works just as well.
Repair is much better.
Okay, so yeah, it is. So she's like 3, 2, 1 and clamp, and you see her retrieve just as all of you like clamp perfectly in sync. You see her hand go in and she pulls out like a tracker.
Not me.
No.
Okay, because I'm totally distracted by Gale at this point.
Right. She pulls out a tracker.
That's okay. I had two
And
successes. One for
if
you,
your
one for me.
idea is synchronization, I'll just take the L at this point.
Right. So she is like, okay, unclamp. And the thing is, when you clamp off, you see that blue orb kind of fade a little bit. And then Gale, on the inside, why don't you give me another spirit check? Nice. So it's almost as if the world around you begins to fall apart. You're moving across to go chase after Sunstreaker out into the middle of this battle. Massive robots kind of storming around you, and the ground that you go to place your foot on transforms away, and all that's left is one single sheet of metal, you know? And an abyss falling away from you. All you see is the dying core of a planet far below you. And then you take a step forward and the ground is back. It's almost as if you force the thought away just as quickly as it appears. And you're back going after Sunstreaker. But as you reach him, the world begins to fade as your connection to him begins to sever, and he slowly stirs awake as the energy is restored to his core. He's sitting there now looking down, and as you sit up with his chest open, and you see the glowing flickering orb and Red Alert standing there with the blinking tracker. She's like, shall we leave this one intact right now?
Yeah.
We should hide it somewhere here, right?
We should deploy both of them in the river. We're going to put both of them in a plastic bottle. That way, it'll look like the group is traveling in the same direction.
She's like, very good idea. Okay.
We're just going to throw it in an empty plastic bottle. It's not eco-friendly, but
right.
It'll float down a river.
Okay.
We'll chuck it out the car window in the first river we see. It'll float down that way. They'll think we're on a boat. And they'll waste all that time because it looks like the group is moving together.
Perfect. So she
Also, you
yeah.
guys should check out this thing.
And I look down and she's got a
Screwdriver.
in your transformed metal arm. That
I'm
it's
like,
not
I can't leave you alone for 3 minutes.
So Sunstreaker sits up and he's like, whoa, your arm! He almost Kate, who's perched on his chest, has to scramble and clutch onto a piece of the paneling that's open. She's
and I'm
hanging
freaking
there
out
for
and I'm
a
like,
minute.
something.
I'm going to try to comfort Gale. I'm going to be like, it's okay. It's okay. Your arm still seems to be functioning just fine. I've just kept it in a suspended transformed state so we can figure out what's going on with your body.
This is not my body. Or wasn't my body.
Then we're just going to figure out what's going on with the body that you're currently inhabiting. But the important thing is we figure out what just happened. And that, Gale, is why I put a screwdriver in your arm while you were unconscious.
If you're expecting a thank you, don't hold your breath.
You're not 100% sure how many limbs this applies to, but Gale, give me a strength check real quick.
I mean, was I not watching? Did I not see any other transformations in the limbs?
You saw them flicker with a little bit of like a
Okay.
metallic look, as if I mean you did see them.
Okay. I relay that to
transform.
everybody.
Yeah.
Yep. So your arm is heavy, but you're able to pick it up, and it feels like you've got a power armor glove on your fist.
So I like am look my arm and fist, and then you just see me get really dizzy, and then I just pass out.
I try to catch his head.
You catch him, is that what you said?
Yeah, it's like he's like laying down, but like I want to
Right.
make sure he doesn't hit his head.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
says, "This is now my experiment subject.
Right.
This requires care."
Oh dear.
So she's like, well, I suggest that we start moving. I know that it's late and you all must be exhausted, but
Are we not going to like try to figure out why Gail's arm is a robot now?
I don't think we have time. I have just retrieved this tracker that is active. It is
All
only
right.
a matter of time before they send more agents.
I am going to carefully remove the screwdriver then.
Okay.
Everybody's seen it. We don't have
So
time.
you're not crazy.
Yeah,
No.
right.
No, I have the curious trait. I'm not evil.
No.
Well, we'll find another opportunity to pull Gail apart, but
I mean, like,
And you'd say
I
not
was just
evil.
saying that you're not actually crazy, because up until now you were the only one that saw this kind of.
oh no, Gail's not. I've been saying that from the get-go. Gail's not a human, but now you all know it too. And I
Oh,
carefully,
what makes a human human?
He's not completely.
not being a robot. I carefully remove the screwdriver. Does the arm revert?
It reverts back like the rest of his limbs. It looks
Okay,
totally fleshy.
I'm gonna
that's
look him over
fleshy.
just to make sure there's no permanent damage and needs to be repaired.
Okay, and I'm gonna pause here and now go to Christian.
Sorry, guys.
Christian, you become aware of yourself and your surroundings. Give me a actually give me a vigor check.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, so it's hazy and confusing. You're cold, unnaturally cold. You actually feel a bit nauseous and roll over to vomit, and it's just this translucent-y blue kind of oil smelling substance that you vomit out. And when your eyes adjust, you're floating in a container of blue liquid with various electrodes hooked up to you. You can see scientists moving around outside of this container that you're in. Give me a notice. Okay, so you can make out muffled voices as they're talking to you, or as they're talking amongst themselves. It's definitively male. At least one of them seems to be instructing the others on what to do. You can make out that they're holding a clipboard and they're all wearing long white lab coats.
Can I try and focus? Get a better look at him.
Yeah, for sure. Why don't you give me another, give me a spirit this time. Nice. So you feel it's a success. It's not great. You're struggling to understand just what's happened to you. You can't remember how you ended up here. You remember pain and fire. And then this. And this seems to have gone on for an eternity. Now, this voice, as you reach back into your subconscious, is familiar enough for you to recognize that they're saying, how is HM test subject number 5? Excelling on all of the readings. I believe we have a positive candidate.
Oh, yay. Yeah, I'm gonna look around the tank.
Okay, so give me another notice roll. Okay, awesome. You hear another voice as you're reaching around in this tube, trying to feel out where you are. You realize that you're floating in this gel. You've got a lot of tubing that is supporting your breathing, and you're feeling for any sort of break as you reach your hand up. Now, you notice, though, that as you begin moving around, the scientists begin to look at you. And there's another figure that this lead scientist was talking to, apparently. And you see them, and they're dressed solely in black. He's like, I believe that I'm ready to obtain my asset.
I pound the glass of the tube.
Okay. And so, as you do that, why don't you give me a strength check? Nice. So with a raise, you feel like, whether it's anger or panic, whatever it is washing over you, and you clench your fist, and the first couple of swings as you're banging on this tube, as you cut through this gel, are really slow, like you're in a dream, you know, when you try to punch someone really hard and it's just not happening. And then all of a sudden it's as if your hand has the weight of lead to it, and it cuts through that gel, and you hit the glass tube in front of you, and you can actually hear the kind of pressurized plexiglass structure crack and splinter, and it makes this very high-pitched sound within the liquid. But you see the spider web surround your fist, and they're like, they're gonna destroy the tank. Open it up now. And you see one of the doctors like holding their hands up at the glass. Now you hear another voice within your head. It says, "It is okay, brother. Calm down."
I'm just gonna say it. KSI needs to hire a new anesthesiologist because their test subjects waking up is a consistent issue.
That is true.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. You go ahead.
Okay, when I hear the voice, I start looking around like, what the F?
Okay.
Voice familiar to me?
Give me a common knowledge -2. Okay, nice. So, oh wait, did that get the -2? So no, actually, you can't remember enough. There is a familiarity there. It doesn't cause you to panic. Somewhere deep inside, there's a deeper connection there. But you can't remember anything about it. Who it is, what it is, where it came from, how long you've known it, if you've known it at all. All of the details surrounding this voice are fuzzy. Now, within the lab, which has very high ceilings, you can see the bright lights kind of gleaming against this tube as you're looking around panicked. When you hear this voice, give me another notice roll. Okay. So you actually do notice two bright headlights flicker on, and the faint rumble sound of like a really throaty engine, you know, as rolling slowly into the lab, coming to stop in front of the tank is this red, like, Lamborghini with black stripes on it.
Kitchen car.
And you see the doctor come forward, and she's like, "Did someone activate this?" And you hear the doctor's like, No. What do you do? Now, you're aware that people are now moving around the outside of the tank to get you out of there, but it seems to be taking forever. Like, they're unlocking things. You hear, like, drills as they're, like, removing locks and whatnot, you know?
I'll be right back. Someone's at my door. Sorry.
Okay, no, you're fine. We'll go back to the others then. So... Back to the group. You guys have these two trackers, one working, one inactive now. What do you want to do? We'll start down the line. We'll start with Andrew.
Getting out of here as quick as we can, really. And dumping them on either the first animal or, as Tetra said, down the river.
Perfect. So what you're going to do is you guys start packing up. You know... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Kate.
But we need to activate the other one first.
Yes.
One of them is deactivated. So we do need to activate that one again so that they know we haven't noticed.
Okay, so...
I'm hoping that this small amount of time, they just think they got a glitch, something went wrong, they got a short, but now it needs to be back up so that they see two going the same direction.
Perfect. Okay, so why don't... Does anyone want to help her with this?
I'll try.
Okay.
Oh.
So,
Actually,
Kate...
I'm passed out, so I'm not trying.
Oh, yeah. So... Andrew, did you want to help?
I'll work on getting Gale up.
Okay, alright.
Sure, I've got some water I can dump on him.
Yeah, so you move around, you're looking for some water, you find like a rickety old bathroom, and when you turn on, there's like a mop bucket in there, and when you turn on the faucet, like the pipes rattle, and like the water comes out like brown for a little bit.
Red first, yeah.
And then stains the sink, but you fill up this bucket right as it kind of gurgles and spittles, almost like it's vomiting into it. You know?
Lovely.
And you're filling this bucket of water. Now, why don't we go to... Well, Flip, are you going to help Kate try to reactivate this?
I'm actually pretty confident in Kate's electronics ability. Instead, I want to find some maps. I want to plan our route towards Louisiana, and I want to do it specifically. I want to find a highway that kind of will curve more south towards like the ocean where a river's going to let out. I want them to think that we were heading south instead of Louisiana, and the goal is to find a road that's going to make us look like that, make us look like we hopped on a river, but instead we can really easily get on a highway or something and go east towards Louisiana.
Okay, perfect.
I'm trying to misdirect them. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So
yeah, I'm looking at maps to try to figure that out.
why don't you give
Something
me...
that's gonna not really delay us, but it's gonna look convincing.
You said you're looking for snacks too?
Maps.
Maps. Oh, okay, so
Yeah,
give me an investigate.
I think that one's untrained, but that's silly. Why would we do that?
And now, Kate, why don't you give me your electronics to fix
Or my
this
repair?
thing? Yeah, or your repair.
I'm gonna take a D6 and investigate.
Nice. Yeah.
Always doing a repair. I automatically get a +2 to it, and it's a D8. So
What card is this that was playing?
I'm not sure how to add that D6 to my investigate. But I imagine science is probably the same trait. Can I roll the science and we'll call it investigate?
Yeah. I mean, you're using your scientific
Oh.
mind. We'll say.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't
so-
investigate. I played the Epiphany. For those who can't see it, the Epiphany card reads, "Something you never understood suddenly clicks. You gain a D6 in any skill you choose the remainder of the game session." I take it in investigate. So that was an 11 for investigate.
So, despite all of the chaos, your scientific mind is always plotting the next action. And as you rolled into this ghost town, you see an old gas station that's long since been abandoned, and you're like, snacks, maps, provisions, I'm going there, right? And as everyone's kind of working on their own things and preparing for this trip, you step out into the night. Now, as you're moving through this abandoned town, it's kind of eerie.
I take Megan with me.
Perfect. So you and Megan are going together. As you step out in this abandoned town, it's kind of eerie, but it's also really kind of peaceful and quiet. And
We're holding hands walking to the gas station.
And so the night is like, you can see all of the stars in the sky, make out the moon. As you're walking down this abandoned street towards the gas station that you saw, Megan kind of has her arm looped through yours and her head resting on your shoulder, and she's like, "Do you think our lives are ever going to be normal again?"
I don't know, but we will find a way through this.
She's like, "Together?"
Together.
And she kind of...
She came back to you, didn't she? Oh wait, no, she came to us, didn't she? Scratch that. Yeah, no, we'll be together.
we always find a way to each other.
Yeah, I love it. And so she like kind of squeezes your arm a little tighter, and she's like, "I'm kind of scared though."
I know, me too. But it'll be okay. I mean, yeah, it turns out our employer was evil, and these things happen, but between the two of us, we have enough now, and we've got this ragtag group of kids and cyborgs and robots and what have you. We'll find a way to deal with this, and then we'll find a nice quiet place where we can settle down. Maybe have a lab, a garden.
Give me a notice roll.
Oh, fuck you, Andy.
Dang, ouch. No, I'm kidding.
Fuck you, Andy.
Oh my gosh!
You don't seem
How
to...
do you always manage that at the worst possible moment?
It's a crit failure for the audience. Andy, I'm trying to have a romantic, cute scene, and you got to go through another pterodactyl. Right?
No. So as you're walking along, and nothing terrible happens, even with your critical
Can I have a bounty to have let somebody know where I'm going first?
Don't waste it, really. This is just to see if you feel something minor. So Megan would be like...
Minor.
Megan would be like, "Did you feel that?"
No, I didn't feel anything.
She's like, "Felt like a minor earthquake. Like an aftershock?"
I guess I'm just too distracted by your eyes and the stars.
She's like, and she would stop and look at you, and she's like, "I'm being serious."
I'll pause for a second and kind of feel with my feet, see if there's another one.
And you don't feel anything. And as you do that, she's like, I mean, you'd figure I'd be used to it after growing up in California.
I mean, these towers are popping up everywhere. That was probably one popping up in Dallas.
Oh no. Well, that would be devastating. And she just kind of continues about the walk with you as you make your way to the gas station. It is closed, but one thing that's different about this...
I don't care. There's a rock nearby. It's not closed.
Okay, so you pick up a rock. Why don't you give me...
Does it look like it's been occupied in the past 6 months?
No.
It's not closed. My only concern is an alarm.
Give me another notice roll.
Oh, good. I love notice rolls. That's my favorite. Oh, it's a 4 this time.
Okay, so you do notice that a couple of smaller places have been broken through in the glass.
Oh, cool. Like places in the gas station, like I can get in. I'm gonna do that.
So,
no need to,
just give me you're gonna throw a rock at one of the broken places already?
Can I just not slip through? Do I have to kind of clear it out a little better?
Clear it out a little better. It looks like maybe bullets have gone through the windows or something like that.
Well, I'll try the door. You said the door is locked?
Yeah.
Back door's locked?
Maybe it is.
I'll check the back door.
Okay, awesome.
Where they take deliveries.
You move back, and the back door is actually not locked. You open it up, and inside, like, the moment you open the door, kind of dust motes fly up as air enters the building, and it smells stale, like people haven't been here in a while. You are aware that those are indeed bullet holes that have been all over, like, you see the marks inside the building everywhere now that you're inside. As you are moving into, what are you looking for first? Maps?
Maps.
Okay, so give me...
I'll also just kind of look over the place and see, in general, does it seem heavily looted? Or does it seem like it seems pretty clear? Like it's good?
Yeah. It seems like... I'm definitely not looted. Like, this town was just abandoned.
I'm going to do 2 things, and the first is I'm just going to pick a random snack on the shelves and check the expiration date.
Okay,
It doesn't matter what it is. I'm just trying to figure out how long this stuff's been here.
Right.
Just if it's worth bringing back a convoy and loading up on, junk food.
For sure. Yeah, give me...
I don't exactly think we're going to be meeting with a Trader Joe's. So.
Yeah, and you don't need to roll for this. Like, you find, like, I don't know, snowballs or whatever.
I'm literally pulling the first thing I see off the shelf.
Right, and you look at
that
it.
seems vaguely expiry.
And it is all still within date. I mean, a lot of this stuff lasts for years, and it's probably, gauging by the dust, been here untouched for about 6 to 7 months. And so you go through and start looking for food and maps. And as you make your way behind the counter, why don't you give me a spirit check?
For the dead body I found? Yeah, it's a 5.
Yeah, so as you come around the counter, it's happened so long ago that even the smell has kind of dwindled into just this musky, dusty, old smell. But you see the body of a cashier who has obviously been shot, laying behind the register.
How long ago was the Battle of San Antonio?
It was about 2 years.
Oh, okay. So I'm putting together that something bad happened in this town. Everybody left in a hurry. There was looting.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm gonna kind of call to Megan and just gently be like, "Hey, babe, like, don't come to this side of the counter. There's nothing good to see here."
She's like, "Okay, I'm gonna take your word for it, and I'm going to go shopping." And she like picks up a little plastic bag that's just kind of discarded on the floor and begins loading it up, as well as putting stuff in her purse. She's also getting like eye wash and first aid spray and things
Megan,
like
just
that.
start putting stuff in baskets. We'll call the convoy and actually just start sorting and loading stuff.
Okay.
That way, when the convoy comes, we'll bring it to the back door. So we can just swing around with some of the cars, load them up, and be done.
Okay.
Pre-sorted, it's good to go. I'm going to take max cash, meds.
Perfect.
Yeah, we'll just start loading stuff up.
And we're gonna go to Andrew and Gail real quick. Andrew was gonna dump a bucket of water on Gail, and he does. And Gail, why? I'm not even gonna make you roll for it. You are just like suddenly just doused with water, and it jolts you awake. But you're filthy from this water.
And I'm like, puh, like, what? Puh, what did you just dump on me?
I think it was at least 50% water.
Oh, I smell horrible.
Yeah, you're not going in the truck with me.
And I like look around, and can I do like something to see if there's clothes or I literally I'm still in like an old lab suit that I stole. Like I have no belongings.
Yeah, so why don't you, if you want to look around town for like a little store as well for clothes, you're welcome to do that if you want to do an investigate roll.
So I like smell myself, and I'm like, I think I need some fresh air, and I will do that investigate roll.
Okay.
I was like, thanks a lot, Andrew. Hey, I don't suppose you want to come with me to check out the rest of this town and see if maybe there's anything else interesting we could use or take with us?
Sure, I'll see about siphoning some gas while we're out there as well.
So Kate, as you guys are doing this and communicating, Kate has her like eureka moment, and you hear beep 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 come to life. And it's perfectly in sync with the other one now.
She's like, ha! Okay, bottle, and then we have to find a river.
At that, shortwave kind of goes doop and like moves over around you, and around your legs, and he kind of taps at your calf, you know, and you see his big blue eyes looking up at you, and they look like excited.
Okay, what is it, boy? What is it?
And so
Did Timmy fall down in the well?
R2D2 noises intensify.
He all of a sudden you hear that hallmark and there before you is like a neon blue with pink accent, matching very much the boombox, is a little Vespa scooter.
It's a moped.
And she's excited about it.
And you hear this little horn go.
Beep, beep.
Beep, beep. Yeah, exactly. Beep, beep.
She's like, you are the best! Okay, let's go!
Andy, quick question.
Yeah.
If you store stuff like in the trunk of a transformer and they transform, or like especially like in an ambulance compartment, what happens to the stuff that's stored?
So it's kind of this whole, they have the ability to shift mass and spaces, so...
Okay, so they do function as storage.
Yeah, they can be used as storage. They can just shift those compartments around and slide them into other places, you know?
Now, if you're hanging out in the car when it happens, do you get to like be like a Power Ranger?
So there are things.
2, 1, power up!
So, we will go back to Christian now, real quick, and then we'll go. Well, we've got a little bit. Yeah, we'll go to Christian real quick. So, Christian, you become aware that now hands are reaching into this tube to, like, start pulling you out.
I swat him away.
Okay, so give me your fighting.
I guess what you're saying is you're biting the hand that freed you.
Ba-dunch. Okay, so you are just too uncoordinated, and you're welcome to Benny that if you want. You're just too uncoordinated and, well, greasy to do anything, and you actually, as you're, like, knocking these hands off of you as they pull you from this, you end up slipping on the steps, kind of tumbling down these, like, 3 metal steps that lead up to the tube. And hitting the floor with, like, this wet, slimy schlop as you pulled the, like, breathing tubes forcefully from your throat, and it kind of makes you very hoarse when you start to talk.
What the hell is going on?
They're like, don't you remember? This is part of the project you agreed to.
I don't remember shit.
Waking can be confusing. You can think of this as an extension of your military service.
Extension of my military service?
And then that's when the man in black steps forward. And he's very stern looking. And there's some... Give me a common knowledge now again. Now that you're out of it and, like, really coming to. There's some similarity there to the Nest logo. And he's got this badge on an all-black military uniform. And he's like, I'm Special Agent Savoy. You've been recruited to join a task force known as the Cemetery Wind.
Known as the what?
Cemetery Wind.
Why is it called that?
We are finally removing the alien presence from this planet. And taking back what's ours.
Look around the laboratory. Try and get to my feet. And when is this supposed to start happening? Or when am I supposed to start doing this?
And he's like, as soon as you feel well enough, we'll get you outfitted. You can meet the rest of the men. We've already got a task. We have 2 assets that have escaped a laboratory in Dallas.
I guess now's good enough time than ever to meet the rest of my unit.
He's like, get yourself cleaned up, soldier. Meet me at the loading bay in 5.
Where's the loading bay?
Or let's not say 5, in 15. Because that's... You just came out of a giant scientific womb. Now, get ready in 5 minutes. So
you can't even stand up straight. You don't even know your own name, but you can meet me in 5 minutes and you'll know where to go.
Right.
No pressure. No pressure.
We'll
I love the military.
Don't shower either, apparently. You're just gonna walk out there in a slime-covered uniform.
So I look to one of the people wearing the white coats and say, "Where do I go to get cleaned up?" My scratchy voice, that is.
Yeah, so he's like, well, obviously the barracks soldier. You really don't remember much, do you?
I don't remember a damn thing.
He's like, well, hopefully you remember your partner. Sideswipe.
Looking around, who's sideswipe?
The red car, then you hear your hallmark sound. And standing up before you is a red transformer with black accents. He's got massive curved blades almost that he holds almost as, or that are attached to his forearms almost the way that you would use like the eskrima sticks or whatever in martial arts. And he's got those lined up against his forearms, and he's like, I'm Sideswipe. Ash, do you not remember me?
No.
And he's like, don't worry, it's confusing when you first wake up. I was wondering if I had lost you forever, just like my brother.
Your brother?
He's like, yeah, it's been some time since I've seen him.
Just looks around. This is not a dream, right?
And he's like, no, it's not a dream. I'll meet you in the loading bay. The barracks are upstairs, 2 floors. You'll find your uniform, showers, and a commissary for food. I suggest you get something to eat. Keep it small, though. You don't want to be seeing it again.
Yeah, I don't think I want us to be seeing any of this again. As I look at the tube and all the people in the white coats, then I'll head to the closest stairs or lift to get up to the second floor to where the barracks are.
Okay, as you're getting on the elevator, you've got the time of it kind of, the doors closing with a ding and then the slight jolt of movement as it begins to ascend. And give me one more common knowledge.
Muted.
Okay, so your memory is still so fuzzy. You're having just a lot of difficulty sorting out any of the images that must have been your life before all of this. And you find yourself vomiting in the elevator again, just that blue, like, crude oil smelling substance onto the floor.
I look at my hands and the rest of myself and look at the vomit and what the fuck did they do to me?
And
I understand that sentiment. I really do.
you hear a ding as the elevator doors open before you, and you see a long stretch of hallway, as well as you can hear the kind of rowdy, boisterous voices of a small group of men and some females.
I walk out of the elevator covered in slime. You can give me a towel to wipe off.
They didn't. You're like just walking through the hallway naked, and as you come up to the door, you see what looks to be like your very traditional, like, military unit of soldiers, and in their barracks, just like laughing. A couple of them are sitting around a table while one of them is leaning against the bunk beds. They're playing some cards, and they all look up at you as you walk in, and they're like, "Whoa, Ash! We thought you were dead, man. How are you feeling?" She's like, I guess the incubation tank was cold. Is this like spicy female laughs?
So cruel.
She's got red hair.
Oh,
that's
damn.
shaved short. She's like, I'm just kidding, and she comes up and gives you a hug. And then some of the other guys move in, and they're like, kind of jostling you around, maybe make you feel like you're gonna vomit again. One of them like smacks your ass, like, you need to go wash up. You're like a newborn baby right now.
I feel like one. And I like the showers.
And they point to the back of the barracks, and this is very, like, it is slightly futuristic time setting. So something interesting about these barrack showers is they are communal, and why am I drawing a blank on this with
Co-ed.
Thank you. I was like, cohabitory. No, that doesn't work. So they are co-ed showers.
Unisex.
Right, unisex showers. And so there are perhaps like one or two other soldiers whose barracks are connected to these showers in there with you. They kind of look at you as you come in and finish their showers quickly and leave you standing in the showers by yourself.
I see they're intimidated. So I walk over to one of the showers and turn them on.
Now, as you're sitting there showering, give me a notice. Perfect. So you're like just, I don't know, scrubbing this stuff off of you. It seems to be, with its oil consistency, really difficult to get off, so it's taking a lot of soap to like really get it out of your hair and everything. And you are startled by hands around your waist, gently at first as you're showering, and then you feel like breast pressed up against your back.
Okay, I look back.
And
the redhead, isn't it?
It's the redhead. And she's like, I really thought I lost you.
No, I'm okay. Sorry, my memory's a little cloudy.
Give me another common knowledge now as you're like in this very intimate moment with her. Nice. So you would recognize her now, and not just her. A few memories come flooding back. Something's different than the way it was before, but these are all people that you know, and especially her. Her name's Marissa. And you were romantically involved. You were part of Nest together. She was partnered with an Autobot as well. Sideswipe is different. You remember Blue Eyes, but his are red.
Should ask him.
Eyes usually means Decepticon. I look at her and I'm like, I go, Marissa, I don't know what they did to me.
She's like, well, you're part of the Headmaster program.
The what master program?
The Headmaster program. I'm not sure what they did to you either. They let those scientists here treat you like a lab rat. Do you feel like you? She kind of drapes her arms around your shoulders as you're in the shower, and she's like, I mean, you feel like you to me.
Feel different. I don't know exactly how to explain it, but feel different. And like I said before, just everything's just so cloudy. What happened to me?
She's like, well, there was a battle. The battle for San Antonio. A lot of lives were lost.
I get hit?
Sideswipe, and you rushed into battle. There was an explosion. We thought you were dead. Apparently, you signed some sort of waivers when you joined Nest that allowed KSI to take your body and sideswipes to the KSI laboratories.
We have cyborgs and we have zombies. Yes!
Wait, did I die?
She's like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how anyone could survive that explosion. Shockwave. You don't remember him?
I remember Shockwave.
He nearly leveled that whole block just as you moved onto it to try to save some civilians. He killed everyone, including you and Sunstreaker. I mean, I think that's what we were told anyway, until we heard that you were undergoing testing and you had miraculously survived. And that you would be returning to... We're no longer called Nest anymore. They've disbanded Nest.
What are we called now?
They're calling us Cemetery Win.
Oh yeah, that guy said, the suit said that.
She's like, yeah. She's like, Savoy. He's a real prick.
What is the name of it?
The name of what?
Was it the new unit? It's not Nest, it's what?
Cemetery Wind.
Cryptic.
And so she's like, she kind of places her hand on your face and like moves your hair back as you showered, and she's like, I'll give you some time, but I'm just happy you're here. And she would kind of turn around and grab her towel and drape it around herself, you know.
But I remember her though.
Yeah, and you guys were romantically linked. Give me another common knowledge roll and see if you can remember one other detail. You can't. You know that she was linked to an Autobot, but it's really fuzzy on who it would have been. And with that, we are going to pause for our bio break.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, and...
Bum.
Bum. So, yeah, you guys hang tight. We will be back in like 10 to 15, and yeah, see you all in a moment. I hope you are enjoying this game, and yeah, be back in a few.
See all of you.
are back from our break. And I don't know if you can hear me, but yeah, we are back from our break, and here is everyone. We will go right back to the story. So we left off with Christian kind of showering, and you've moved back to the barracks, and now something is starting to click with you. It's almost a kind of autopilot as you find your way to your bunk and open up your storage chest and pull out your uniform. And it is different from your uniform at Nest, and that is something that you would be aware of. It is solid black. It does have that same patch that you noticed on that man on it. And the others told you that they would meet you, in the cafeteria for food. And so, what do you want to do?
Please give the dog some love. What a good dog!
But this one right here,
Yeah.
he's a little maniac.
He's
Please
a
give
maniac.
him some love. He looks so desperate for love. Aw, baby. Okay, now we can continue with the story.
I'll go through my foot chest, my lock chest, and look for my gear.
Okay, so you find all of your new and improved gear, really. It is a bit different. More kind of Kevlar type body armor. Plasticine in nature is woven into the fabric of the uniforms itself, giving it a bit more rigid structure than your standard uniform. And you find guns that are definitely guns that you would be familiar with. Ness had definitely paired with the Autobots and their weaponry to gain access to guns and things that a lot of standard military units didn't have. And all of that seems normal. You also find your wallet, and in it are pictures.
I take a look at the pictures.
And there are various pictures of you with, like, leaning against Sunstreaker. Leaning against Sideswipe. And there are, like, you with the rest of your unit, like, in the normal green that Nest used to wear. And you also see that, yeah, Marissa is there, and she's leaning up against a blue motorcycle that looks very sleek.
Nice. When I just look at the pictures and start to realize that, yes, me and her did have a relationship, and I just kind of saw him.
Yeah, and so things are slowly starting to feel more normal for you as you've now got this uniform on and, like, strapping your guns to your holster, or strapping your holsters on and sliding your guns in. Like, everything is feeling very second nature at this point, and you make your way towards the cafeteria. We're going to go to the others now, who Gail has just been awoken pretty awfully with Andrew and asked if he wanted to go look for clothes. So I am going to have you guys roll an investigate to look around town.
I don't think I actually have that.
Okay, so it would be untrained at a -2.
Yep.
Maybe you have an adventure card that will help. Nobody's really played adventure cards yet. So I played the one.
You don't know where to begin. To you, all of the places in this little middle of nowhere town, all of the buildings look the same. What about you, Gail? Okay. All right. That one, who dealt? So you don't need that.
I did that.
I'll give you.
I don't.
I'll give you another one.
Oh, sorry. Wait, what happened?
I believe that is for powers, which you don't really have powers.
Okay. I see.
Like that's.
I just
power
thought
points.
that meant like whatever skill I was trained in, but I see. That's something different.
Yeah.
Hence the arcane.
Yeah, but that's okay. I can deal you another one. And see if that helps. But go ahead and give me an investigate. And then
So if I'm untrained, that's a D6.
a D4 minus
D4.
2, but it can explode. So you should have like an unskilled thing on your sheet, and you can just click that.
Oh, aha. Aha.
So
Oh.
same. It's hard without any lights on, and it's not like this town was big on extravagant signs, you know?
Yeah.
So give me a notice minus 2.
I'm like, what? This place is a ghost town. Give you a what? I'm sorry.
Notice minus 2.
How do I add the -2 on here?
You can right click it, or you can just roll it and we'll subtract 2.
There's also down at the bottom left, there's a modifier box.
Yeah.
You can type it in there, and when you roll your dice, it'll automatically add that or subtract it. That's what I tend to do. I think I have a
Wait,
card that
let's
might work for
see.
this. I had to read through these, but let's
Okay, I'm just doing this while I figure that out.
Oh no.
I
Get a
don't
clue.
notice anything.
Oh
ever.
wait, so
You think you find a clothing store, but it's a head shop. And you spend a lot of time looking for clothes there.
Why are you in the soup aisle? I'm in the soup store.
Um,
Why are you looking for clothes in the soup store?
Caitlin, that card.
I like it.
You can't find anything. You actually, you are in like a mom and pop restaurant, and you're like, well, this isn't what I need. And
So I played a card.
yeah, I see that.
Okay.
What would you like to know?
I want to know, like, I know that it says how to resolve a current predicament or problem, or to find all the clues or evidence in a particular scene.
Okay.
What I want is to have, like, rather than clues or evidence, to find all the pieces necessary for travel. So clothing, medicine, food, finding
Gotcha.
a river, this kind of stuff. It's making sure that we've got all of our loose ends tied up before we leave the area is what I'm looking for.
So what we'll do is we'll just fast forward a little bit. And you know what? Why don't we... I will...
And Andrew came with me. Can he roll to see if he finds any
Yeah,
store?
no, Andrew definitely needs to roll too, but yeah, so you find the Bear Creek consignment shop.
Oh,
Okay.
a consignment shop.
And it is basically a thrift store that will also alter clothes for you. It has long since been abandoned.
I don't know
Like
about
most
you.
of the places I go.
I would look at him and say, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a movie montage moment coming on.
There's
all I
always
can think of is like the song, and now I've got it stuck in my head. I'm gonna pop some tags over.
yeah.
And we're gonna
Okay, anyway.
total Tank Girl Liquid Silver makeover moment where we're just gonna like in fast forward be putting on all these different outfits and stuff.
Hey, oh, Andrew, how do you feel about this?
I'm grabbing a change of clothes in my size, and then I'm leaving him to it.
And I'm just like making like jokes and references the whole time, like And then I watch him leave, and I'm like, "We're leaving already? That was fun."
Eddie, are we actually in Bear Creek, Texas?
Yes,
Did we come from Dallas or Houston?
Dallas.
Ah, crap. All right, I'm actually looking at a map, so. Ah, crap.
So
crap.
yeah, so back to Flip, as a matter of fact, as all of that is happening. You find a map and you're gathering snacks, and since Kate has kind of played through that, you're looking at the map as you guys kind of.
Oh, yeah, I sure am looking at a map.
Yeah, it's a long way.
Ah, crap. What's in Houston right now?
Don't know.
Ah, crap. Shit. There's no rivers.
There is a creek.
Come back to me. I'm investigating this map.
That's why it's
otherwise.
called Bear Creek.
I'm at least if it isn't, then there is still a creek there.
I'm just trying to figure out which direction this thing flows now.
Right. Okay. Yeah. There you go.
It's gonna
So-
like
You know,
float,
I hope you have Google Maps up, Andy, because
I do not. That is one more window, but I love it. So you just plot it out and like.
yeah, no, I will
definitely-
get you directions that
I love it. Yeah, that's perfect. And actually, what I'll do is for big spots in the directions, I'll draw a card for like a montage thing to see what happens with the group, you know. And so, you guys are kind of flash forwarding due to Lyrica's card, though, and making sure that you get all of your loose ends. Lyrica, you pull up on shortwave and hop off, and there's like a partially destroyed covered bridge, really. So you can toss it into the water from the bridge. At one point you wouldn't have been able to, but now you can just kind of walk out there and toss it through the broken.
Well, I mean, like looking at the map and the way the water trails above Austin, and you have little places that come down. My guess is that it's going to hit underground rivers, probably down Austin through San Antonio, Three Rivers, down to Corpus Christi.
Yeah, totally.
And so that's probably what she's going to drop. But we're heading over to Louisiana, so like we'll probably follow south just a little bit, maybe, just to kind of.
the thing is, and maybe I'm overthinking it. If we're traveling through underground rivers, they're not going to believe that for a second.
No, they're not going to believe that we're in underground rivers. It's just the direction it's going. I'm not sure that they may not be looking at a specific like level.
Topographic map type thing.
Yeah, they're not knowing exactly where we are. They're just going to think we're going to be going underground, like over the ground.
They're just following the
through
tracking
San
beacon.
Antonio and down towards Corpus Christi, which would sort of make sense considering Kate came from San Antonio.
It would be ideal to send the signal through San Antonio.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I love that. You toss it in, you like do some quick research. Shortwave helps you like calculate like directions.
Okay, where is it going to go? Oh,
Yeah.
look, it's going straight through San Antonio. That sounds fucking good. Let's go.
Yeah, and it's like meet, like you like kind of peel off, and so everyone's tying up their loose ends. Flip has got the maps, like food. Andrew and Gail have clothes for everyone. And you're loading up to get ready to head out.
Dibs on Red Alert.
Okay, I love that. And so
Megan and I are going to take Red Alert.
no, Red Alert is a small emergency medical vehicle.
It's an ambulance.
Yeah.
There's room for at least 2 people.
Yeah,
Plus-
yeah, for sure. But
in the
it's
back.
still like ambulances of this time period, specifically from the cities, were often very automated with robotic arms and things. Like we
Yes,
talked
but
about.
these Autobots are not from this time period, Andy, unless they've undergone significant technological advancements in the current period. They're from before the War of San Antonio.
But they copy the vehicles of the time of the cities that they're in. You know, scan, copy, mimic.
I'm trying.
No. But no, you guys can still ride together. I'm just saying, like, there's you've got your cab in the front, right? And you've got your probably spot for one body to go in as the arms and things do.
Well, that's storage. That whole back compartment is storage.
Right. But it's all automated, right? So it cut back on a lot of the excess space without needing people back there doing it all.
So it's the size of a car trunk.
Yeah,
It can fit a person.
a person.
Like granted, my car can fit like 6 dead bodies, and that's the way my mom has always described it to me.
Yeah.
So it's not that much.
Right. It's just, but
Right.
So you and Megan hop into Red Alert. I think that's perfect, and I hope that you would. That's why your characters are together. So, and so.
Is there anyone else with us? Because I'd have room in our car for one more too.
Yeah, no, I think that you guys all have rides. Like, I feel like Lyrica is probably
Taking your Vespa.
maybe that's
No.
why a drive.
This
on a
Vespa better be really fast.
Oh, right.
It's like
No,
the fastest
no,
Vespa
she-
that
she
ever
would-
existed.
She would definitely not want to ride shortwave, because shortwave is useful in other ways, not just transportation. She's kind of attached to Cap at this point.
Right.
I know his name
Oh
is
yeah,
Cap, but
yeah.
she calls him Cap because he's like military grade captain.
Yeah.
So she calls him Captain,
Right.
only she calls him Cap for short. So she would be riding with him if there's any space at all, even if she has to sit on supplies.
No, I feel like Verity is riding with Andrew at this point.
Fair enough. She's welcome.
And so she's there.
She probably wants to avoid Kate.
She's like, "Whoa, too much. I can't do it. Let's let that." She's just not a kid person, you know, like a young person. Like, that's just not her. Not a maternal instinct in her body whatsoever. And so she hops into the vehicle with you, and she's like, "That girl never runs out of energy, does she?" As you're like plotting things, and you're like, "The river went this way," and you know, like. And you guys hop into your vehicles and begin your trek to Louisiana.
Question for the party. So the most direct route to Louisiana is through, I guess it'd be Interstate 10 heading east. And that'll take us directly through Houston. Otherwise, we can head a little bit more north and kind of take more of a back road. That'd be, I think, 190 to Louisiana, but it would avoid Houston and a bunch of major, assuming they're not destroyed towns on the way. So
Yeah, I would
let's
I
start
would
with it, or we wanna go-
probably suggest sticking to that off the main beaten track. I mean, like, we may want to be
Makes sense.
fast. We may want to be fast, but I think 190 is fast enough without having to go through the main part of Houston, which may or may not
Yeah.
involve.
Because 10 cuts
people
directly
looking out
to the
for
front of
us.
Houston.
Mhm.
Yeah.
190 will take us through a couple of smaller towns.
I mean, I'm sure it's, been spread. The word has been spread that we escaped, so people will be looking for us in maybe these spots,
Where in Louisiana are we actually going?
Let's see, like Madison Parish. And I could be making it up. I think that place exists, but...
Or actually used Google Maps.
It
as kind of a
does.
Tabletop game, if you can't even do it.
It's right near Kansas River National Wildlife Refuge, which would actually make sense considering that can't have been dug on forever. So it would have made sense for it to be right around that area that they found the ore, because beforehand they couldn't excavate anything.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
Perfect.
It would have had to happen a long, long time ago.
Tallulah.
The most direct route takes us back through Dallas, so no, we'll just cut across the countryside.
Okay, so we are going to... I'm going to deal a card to everyone. And... Hold on. One second here.
Like an initiative card, or?
It's more of a kind of a random event type of thing, or like a what does Bobby call it? A montage to get us there.
Montage card.
Yeah,
Got
a
it.
montage card. And so basically your reds are beneficial, like good scenes, and your blacks can be like sad
Where do
or
we see that?
intense. Okay.
Okay.
I'm not sure where we see that.
Okay, that's going to be in combat tracker. So
Yeah.
in the upper right hand corner, if you hit the sword, it should pop up with that.
Is red or black? Which one's good and which one's bad?
Red's good, black is bad,
Oh no.
or sad, or something like that.
Oh no.
Yeah, clubs
now
are
let's
usually even worse.
see.
Oh no.
So,
Do we have a radio?
um,
Like, can we radio between cars?
Yeah. Hold on one
I'm gonna take the first part of our trip to teach Caitlin the 99 bottles of beer song.
Okay. Now, what is the fast way to deal cards? I still haven't figured that out in Fantasy Ground.
We have cards. It's not a good situation.
Those are old cards. I wanted to deal new ones to you, but
Oh, are they new or old? That's good news.
Yeah, they haven't changed.
Oh yeah, no change.
digging the
Oh,
music
now we have
this
two?
round.
no, just one. Your old. I gave you a new one. I'm not sure how to do it, so. Oh wait, here we go.
Do you have to take us out of combat? Are we in combat? I don't know.
I don't know. Fantasy
Oh.
Grounds is not intuitive to me.
Wait. Now I have 2 cards.
Let's see here.
Mm.
What does that mean?
I'm doing something. Hold on. Let me try this. I'm going to figure out Fantasy Grounds one day.
Someday, about the time we switch over completely to,
Right?
Ooh,
Ooh.
ooh, I got a Joker. We
Is
all
this-
get a Benny.
Does this count as a action card?
No, it will just basically be like a narrative thing that you're doing.
So it's not an action card.
No.
Okay.
But
I have an edge that helps me if I
gotcha.
Why did mine change? I had a 4 or a 2 of diamonds. and
He
then-
had to redeal the whole thing to figure
Yeah.
out how to get the whole, like, everybody redealt.
But it-
you had a 4. I accidentally dealt to you twice. There. All right. So, Joker, Caitlin got everyone a Benny for starters.
Sweet.
And then you get a wildly beneficial effect, or like leg of your trip here. So why don't you tell me what happened?
Let's see. Wildly beneficial. Okay, so as they start their journey, she's going to be talking to Shortwave to try and make sure that the tracking is specifically on those trackers that they sent through San Antonio and not on us.
Gotcha.
Whether or not that means that he is scrambling that while boosting the like trying to use Cup maybe to boost the signal to get more Transformers showing up.
Gotcha.
How or like putting it in code or something to make sure that the right eyes are on them rather than the wrong eyes.
Yeah, I love it. So, yeah, I'm not going to make you roll for it or anything. You do that. You are boosting the signal. You find a way to connect Shortwave to Cup, and you're not only positive that you're not being followed outside of the trackers that you sent the opposite direction, and their eyes are totally focused on that. So far your plan appears to be working, and you can watch as your routes start to divert, like separate from each other, that you are they're veering away from you at this point, and your broadcast reaches out further, and this time you get a transmission back, and it's this gravelly rumbling voice, and it's like, "Bulkhead here, I hear you loud and clear, Firefly."
Bulkhead?
He's like, "Turns out I've been hiding in Louisiana myself.
So I'll meet you here." Cool.
Yeah.
We'll see you then. Beep, beep.
Yeah. And he's like, "Shortwave? How in the world did a little mini bot like yourself make it this far?" And he like beep 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 like messages back without you saying anything, and then it's like, "A human, Kate. Any friend of yours is a friend of mine."
Yay, more friends!
And so
Fangirling out.
So then we will go to now, let's see. An ace for Ash. Although it is slightly negative. And we'll include Ash in the dramatic task too. Just this is what's happening as he's preparing his troops. So you eat and you make it to the loading bay. We'll fast forward to there. And you are feeling a lot more human. You kind of find yourself smiling at the antics of your troop, but then Savoy comes in and they all kind of step to attention, you know, line up, and he's like, "Men, your mission has just made itself clear. They're heading towards Corpus Christi by way of San Antonio. Corpus Christi by way of San Antonio. And your job is to track them and take them out."
Good luck.
What is the target and what are the numbers?
The target are some human and Autobot resistance.
Ash looks at the rest of the group, seeing what their reactions are.
So most of them are like, yeah, right? Cheering it on, oddly, which these are men that have fought side by side with them through a lot of battles. And but they're all for whatever the military wants, you know? They've decided now that the Autobots are just as bad as the Decepticons, and all of them need to be forced off of the Earth, and if they can't be controlled by the military, then there is no use for them, basically. And you see, though, as this is happening, that Marissa kind of has doubt in her eyes as well. Like, she doesn't like it. You're muted, sorry.
Wrong button, sorry. Out of character question, am I the commander of this unit or just another member?
Just another member. Savoy seems to be the leader, or the captain, really.
Okay.
You're his unit.
Did you say Savoy?
Yeah, as Savoy.
Savoy?
Yep, exactly.
And I'm drawing a blank on what's her name?
Marissa.
Marissa. I look at Marissa and kind of with a curious look.
And the negative side of this is Savoy seems to notice the exchange, but he takes his hostility out on Marissa and he walks over. He's like, "What, are you weak? You turning over on us? You trading alien metal for your flesh and blood brethren?" And she's like, no, sir, you know I've been dedicated to this. She's like, dedicated to this or dedicated to him? He's not your boyfriend anymore, honey. And he's like, goes to turn away from her and then turns back and he's like, "You're sitting this one out. I think you need to clear your head."
You say dick?
What a hot pile of steaming garbage.
And she's like, "No, but..." And she kind of looks to Ash for a minute. But she lets her head fall, like, because he turns around with a look that is like, "Keep talking, I dare you." And she seems to quiet down.
I just kind of give her the stay calm look so she doesn't get upset.
Now, here's something interesting. She's been leaning against a bike, and as he says at your bench, this bike transforms. It's not the bike from the photographs. This one's black with like neon green accents. And when it transforms into something with a mohawk and a very Jack Skellington-esque shaped head, like round with rows of pointy teeth, like tiny buzzsaws. He's like, "What? I'm benched? No, come on. I was ready for some carnage." Marissa looks annoyed at this and just kind of storms off.
Tales of a Teenage Motorbike?
Look at Savoy and I go, "May speak freely, sir?"
He's like, "Well, as history indicates, what I say isn't going to stop you. You want to get benched too, son? It's up to you."
No, I don't want to get benched, but I'm pretty sure Marissa can do the job. She doesn't need to be benched. We need every member of the unit that we can get.
So why don't you give me a convince? Or persuasion. Sorry, excuse me.
Persuasion?
Yep. He's like, trust me, she needs to sit this one out. Ever since you came out of that tube, she hasn't been acting straight. Her head's not in the game. Honestly.
Hey, Andy.
Yeah.
Hang on 1 second.
Okay.
Where is it? Hang on, I gotta click the right things. I play Desperate Times. Play to take any one adventure card from the discard pile.
Okay.
I take Get a Clue. My question to you, Andy,
Uh-huh.
is how could, I'm sorry, I forgot your character's name, but Christian, convince this military asshole to let Marissa come on the journey? Welcome to the party, Christian.
Let me think.
Thank you.
Yeah, no. you're
even though he's tracking us down.
That's fine.
Christian,
He's trying to.
why don't you give me another persuasion roll, but this time use it on Mohawk.
Give us the win, Andy. Give the newbie the win.
Nice. Okay, so what do you say to him? He's like, man, I can't believe we have to sit this one out. You're muted. Sorry, excuse me.
You hear me now?
Yeah.
I look at Mohawk and dang, what would I say to a robot?
Offer to keep her in line. Offer to keep her in line. Come on, you can take the lead on the team. Offer to keep her in line.
You could also tell Mohawk to let him know, hey, you're not just giving up a human, you're giving up a transformer support as well.
That won't work.
Okay.
That's a significant reduction in firepower.
I look at Mohawk and I'm like, well, like I said before, we need every member we can for this unit. And if you bench Marissa, you bench one of the transformers that we have to use to get the other ones. Is that something you really want to do?
He kind of pauses and turns around and looks at you, and he's like, fine, go tell her she's in.
Yes, sir.
now their whole troop is moving the wrong direction. We're good.
Okay.
No stragglers.
Then we'll go to the next card, which will be Andrew, which is a king of diamonds. So this is a good, we're going to say a good lead action as far as taking lead of the group in this situation.
Some way to make us less distinguishable as we travel?
I love it. Give me a persuasion.
Persuasion. 8.
Awesome, I love it. So you kind of tap into the radio with everyone to communicate between vehicles, and you're like, perhaps you gleaming futuristic Autobots need to look a bit more pedestrian or something. And as you say that, as you guys are traveling down these roads, you pass the occasional old vehicle, right? And every time they pass one that fits like their purpose really and matches their general color scheme, they take the older, more beat up version. So Tetra suddenly gets this massive cabbed like ambulance that is very, you know, non high tech city, very old backwoods.
Wait, they can take on another form? Like they can, what?
Their mask can
vehicle.
change. They scan it and then they can shift, or at least in the movies, that's how it works.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, and so it like changes the paint to look old and more like run down. They're not these gleaming like high-tech vehicles, so they're gonna stand out less in the more desolate parts of the world.
I mean, it
mean,
makes
like-
sense because then Hasbro can sell more models of toys.
Right?
I mean, Cup is already an old,
Exactly. Exactly.
like military vehicle anyway. So she's like, okay.
So yeah, everyone just kind of fits together a little better now, looking a lot more old military even.
When Gale sees all the Transformers changing themselves old, he's like, "Oh man, I don't have to do that too, do I?"
And Sunstreaker
Go scan
actually.
an animal and find out. Let's find a squirrel for you to scan.
Oh, I've got heartburn real bad. Sorry, guys. So, Sunstreaker actually changes to look like just a black and yellow Mustang that is kind of run down, you know?
Right now, kids, go to your mom and tell them you need to go to Walmart to buy yourselves a Transformers Jalopy edition.
And so all of the vehicles now are moving along much less detectable than they had been as the kind of scenery of Texas begins to shift to as you make your way towards the edge of the state. Now we are going to go to Tetra. You got a 5 of spades, so...
And I know exactly what happens unless you had something in mind.
No, you tell me. What's up?
As we're driving along the road, there's kind of a big... how bad is it, 5? Is that, like, really a pain in the butt to deal with, or is that kind of a pain in the butt to deal with?
Kind of a pain in the butt to deal with.
Okay. As we're driving along, kind of over the crest of a hill, this gleaming light can be seen. That the sun's reflecting off it. It's hard to see, but we keep going. And as we get closer, we realize somebody has left an abandoned semi-trailer blocking the road. It's been there for a while, but it is clearly full of now rotting cabbages.
My cabbages!
Oh yes, but it is blocking the road.
So you guys come to a halt, and all of the vehicles kind of roll to a stop as... Yeah, do you guys get out to kind of investigate what's happening here?
Yeah, I would. Why not?
Work out how to get it out of the way.
Yeah, right. And so they're like...
As you guys get close, it's real clear something like this wasn't just abandoned. Something happened to this vehicle. The tire's been punched out. The windshield's gone. It could have been a car accident. It could have been attacked, but some external destructive force has enacted chaos on this cabbage cart.
Okay. I'm going to also think on what
Well,
that is,
cabbage truck,
too.
but-
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I think I have...
We all know it's a cabbage cart at this point.
So you've got, like, obviously, perhaps it was a war, or, like, a battle on the highway here, and it looks like massive claw marks had torn through the actual center top of the truck, the container on the truck, and you can see 3 massive claw marks have torn through it.
It's also unusually windy.
Bigger than... Well, actually, Tetra, why don't you give me a science?
Oh, I got some bennies. We're running out of time.
Okay.
We've got a lot of table bennies we can burn through.
Yeah, that's true.
There we go.
Okay, so you would know after a moment of looking at it that they're very similar and almost bird-like to Laserbeak, but there is something else about it as well. It's obviously a much larger creature.
I relay my findings.
And these this cabbage has been here for a while. There's obviously not a lot of traffic on this road. And so the Transformers, it takes some time, but they all shift and begin to lift it and move it out of the way. It smells horrendous. Flies kind of swarm out as they jostle it. Hot garbage is what this smells like. Hot garbage.
I just, at some point, I know it's going to happen. I don't know whether or not it's now because they're focusing on something else, but Kate's going to try and stay in Cup at some point and see if he shifts around her just because she's curious.
Yeah, for sure.
She's like, I want to see the inside.
So give me an athletics.
Oh no.
Oh god, I'm so dead.
Oh no.
I have a lot of bunnies and pennies, it's fine. Oh,
Nice.
okay, I'm
So you move quick, and so it's not uncomfortable, but the cabin does kind of shift around, and you slide down and to like maybe it's a leg or upper thigh or something, and there isn't even a window there anymore where you were. Like, and
look at all the wires.
right, and you feel him you feel yourself like jostling around as he like takes steps and stuff. You lean forward as he like bends down to lift something. Like,
I'm a metal cocoon!
yeah, totally. And so, and you just kind of are there with him doing this. You move it. Oh my god, roll a vomit check.
How do I do that? Like bigger?
Yeah, do it bigger.
Oh yeah, she thinks this is way too cool to lose to blow chunks.
Yep.
So then I'm going to go to the next one. 4 of Cubs. This is not good, and it usually involves. Well, we're gonna say it involves someone immediately close to you.
Okay. Immediately close to me. How about my human mom? Like, do we mean or someone like within the
like
group
within
of cars?
the group of
Okay.
cars.
Oh, I don't want to do this, but I am going to say.
He says he doesn't want to do it.
I'm gonna say Tetra and Megan's car.
If you damage my relationship, end the game.
I'm gonna say Tetra and Megan's car. Do I get to pick what happens?
Yeah.
That's intense.
Yeah. I mean, decide kind of what is negatively gonna affect who.
You can give us a flat tire
Something, anything.
and get out of here.
Gosh.
I was thinking
be
something
creative.
involving all the rotten cabbages you brought up.
What about something with the liquid that smells really bad that they from the truck, you know, like
Okay.
Megan slips and falls into like that goo. And now he has
Dare you?
now Tetra has to share a car with Megan, who now smells like death.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, that's what happens then. So you guys are kind of watching them do this, and Megan steps back as some cabbages spill out and kind of splatter on her shoes, and as she steps back, she slips and just lands back first into a puddle of the goop that had run off down the street. And
we'll take some time to get changed.
there you go. And so-
Malice can be a loss of time. That's fine.
I love that. So that's kind of the first leg of your journey. Well, no, we'll go ahead and just skip through and say that was your journey, little things. Nothing big is going to happen. You make it to Louisiana, and it takes you down a few back roads to get to Madison Parish, and it's getting... In this part of Louisiana, it's a lot of bridge-type roads. They're all over swampy marshes, yeah.
Google Maps says that taking the main highways through through Dallas would take about 8 hours to get to where we're going.
Okay.
I figure with the delays, it's probably closer to 10 to 12 on back roads, like not back roads, but kind of like lesser traveled highways.
Perfect. So yeah, you guys have been traveling for a day straight almost. You know, like it's getting late. The sun is beginning to set, and no one's traveling on the roads in Louisiana at this point. You veer off a side road that becomes very dirt, muddy at points as it drives into like dense cypress trees with Spanish moss hanging off the branches. Like everything is very steamy now. The windows are actually kind of fogging up on some of the vehicles. So Red Alert is grumbling her protests. This muck just gets in my gears, she says, as she's like driving through puddles and whatnot.
I'll comfort Red Alert.
There's a small sign that says Madison Parish, Louisiana, as you make it into... You don't see any obvious town.
So Madison Parish is an area. It'll
Okay.
actually probably be, what was the Tallulah
Tallulah?
is right in the center.
Okay. So we'll say you're pulling into Tallulah, which small town, bayou town. There are people still living here. It's not been touched by war, so to speak. A lot of these people live off of the swamp. They fish, they sell that stuff. So is it a wealthy town? Not in the slightest. And as your vehicles all begin to roll in, some of the townspeople stop what they're doing and stare at you.
I have an adventure card I'd like to use, if that's okay.
Yeah, play it.
Because of my time in my montage moment in the...
You went mute. No, still mute.
I'm going to use that card as my time spent in the diamond store finding some convincing outfits, so I'm not quite so...
Oh.
Make us
Don't
blend
stand
in
out.
a little
Yeah,
better,
yeah,
because
so-
I'm very not human as part of my character sheet. You know, I have to try harder to fit in, you know?
You kind of roll to a stop in town, right? And get out of your vehicle. What do you say to some of the townspeople that are staring at you? You get a +2 to your persuasion. So roll with your persuasion +2.
Oh, +2.
Oh,
You can't.
I'm gonna
Benny
Benny. I've got
You
lots
can't
of
Benny a
Bennies, right?
critical failure.
As long as you don't crit.
Yeah, you
Ah,
can't
critical
Benny it.
failure.
So what do you say?
So, let's just say, because this is Louisiana, I just assume it speaks like slot French because of my language programming. So I just come out with like over the most proper French greeting ever, and not at all Cajun. know?
Yeah, right, okay. And they're like...
And so they don't even know what I said, really.
Right, they're like, And they kind of stare at you a little longer and whisper to each other and go about their business. Although whatever store they were shopping at kind of closes the window and flips the door sign to closed. Like, no, we don't want any of whatever proper French cuisine you're selling. And so
Here does not seem like an active excavation site for rare minerals.
it's definitely not. Definitely not. And so as you get there, you're going to have to figure out where exactly the excavation site is. But we're going to go to Ash now. So Ash, you make it to Marissa, who is kind of sitting on her bunk in the barracks, fuming. Like, she's not crying or anything. She's just mad.
I walk up to her and I squat down in front of her and I got you back on. Everything okay?
You got me back on?
Got you back on duty.
She kind of looks at you for a minute and then wraps her arms around your neck and like gives you a big kiss on the cheek. And she's like, "Oh my god, thank you. I'm good out there. Like, I don't know what to do with myself just sitting in here."
Are you sure I know what you're talking about?
She's like, "Things are different now, though."
How so?
I don't know. I'm not with Chromia anymore. She left. The whole alliance is off. We're working with Decepticons now. Everything feels wrong.
We're working with Decepticons now?
She's like, yeah, apparently the ones that we spent all of that time capturing, the government made a deal to release them from captivity if they promise to help track down any remaining Transformers on Earth.
Are they talking about Shockwave?
So, the Transformers the Decepticons that we captured, they're working with, and they're going to give them freedom for working with us? That just does not make any sense.
Hey, Andy.
Yeah.
You take bribes?
Yeah.
How many bits to have an alarm go off in that military facility? You decide the reason why, but something has happened.
I don't know. Whatever you decide. You decide. I'm terrible at making those decisions. Okay.
Bits
Yay.
received. Thank you very much.
So as she's like coming clean with like what's happening, you hear meow, meow, meow. This is not a drill. All available personnel, move to your nearest emergency exit. You know that doesn't mean you, though. And Marissa's like, oh, something's happening. And she kind of moves towards the loading bay with you, pulling you up. She's like, well, no rest for the wicked. Let's go.
Head back to the loading bay.
And before you leave the barracks, like as you're going to exit, she like turns around and places a kiss like right on your lips. She's like, well, as long as I have you here, it doesn't matter.
Kiss her back!
And so she like, sprints down the hall toward the loading bay.
Follow. Running as fast as I can.
And you hear the sounds of gunshots coming from the exterior of the building. as you're making your way to the loading deck.
See how much more fun this is?
There's a lot of noise. It sounds like it's only escalating every moment you are moving towards loading bay. Once you get there, you see that everyone is prepping for battle, and they're like, the laboratory's under attack.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, well, I grab my sidearm. Have it on me.
Awesome.
Let's
Yeah.
give this guy a plot hook to come to the light.
And I look at our CO and see what he wants us to do.
So, give me a notice.
There you go. The first roll didn't go through.
So that is a fail. Do you want to Benny that?
Of course.
Benny it, Benny it.
Session's almost done anyway. You should
Yeah.
burn your stuff.
And this is exciting. I wasn't expecting this, but this could be fun.
Oh, Andy. You should always expect
I
chaos.
know, right? You are playing in this game. So, yeah, all right. So
What should surprise you is it didn't happen sooner.
Right, exactly. You realize as all of this is happening, though, that the attack isn't coming from outside the building. There are detonations and explosions coming from some of the levels below you. Must be in the actual research laboratory area that you had come from.
Yes.
Well, I look at the rest of the group, and I make my way down there to find out what's going on, unless I'm told not to.
Do you say anything to them? Or are you just like, I'm going down there? Or they don't notice what you notice, I guess, is the better way to say that.
Sounds like the labs are being attacked. We need to go check this out.
They're like, the labs? And they immediately move to their vehicles. Although something strange happens as they go to move to the vehicles. They begin to transform and pull guns on their military counterparts. They're like, nah, humans. Alliance is off. You've done everything we've asked for. This is all that we needed.
We got the plot hook. Yes.
Fuck.
Is there any way I can play another adventure card?
Yeah, sure.
Um,
You got them. They reset at the beginning.
Can I say, is there any way that because we're the same type of being, I could potentially pick up on what he's experiencing somehow? Like the Transformers turning on them, like some sort of hive mind
Hold on.
thing.
Hold on one second.
A disturbance in the force.
I can't read it. It's not- there we go.
Yes.
See.
Because we technically should have been programmed with sort of the same objectives, you know?
So that is really only usable, and I will give it back to you, because that is... That is for when you're actually going into initiative.
Okay.
Because it will treat your card as a joker, meaning everyone, when you draw another card, everyone gets a Benny, and then you get to act first. With a +2.
How do you give that back to me?
I should have, but...
No, it...
Ooh, 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 ooh.
Something crazy.
Okay, let's see if this will do something. Mechanical malfunction. I'm hoping either what I'm actually hoping
I
is
love this.
just that the one system that breaks down, I don't care about all the other ones, but I want what's his name? Sideswipe.
Uh-huh.
I want the system that's trying to control him to break down.
Yes, I love
If
it
it's
so much.
just him, I just want him to be able to help.
I love it so much.
Don't forget,
Uh-huh.
the viewers cannot see what the cards do, so we do have to read them off.
Right.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
so
Okay.
I played mechanical malfunction, which means a device malfunctions in some way. A gun jams, a bowstring breaks, etc. The device can be fixed in 10 minutes work, followed by a repair roll at, I don't know if that's +2 or -2. If a part of a large device, which I assume a transformer is, one system breaks down instead. Now, because I'm not part of this and I'm not sure how wide-reaching this would be, I'm focusing all that I can on Sideswipe because I want him.
Yeah, I love that. So,
Transformer.
we're gonna say that though. So, Ash, you get knocked back as Sideswipe as you're going to get in Sideswipe, and he flings the door back at you, knocking you backwards. Marissa is going to climb onto the bike, and he basically grabs her and throws her. She like slides across the ground into some metal barrels, and you can't. She is unconscious, and his eyes are red as his blades like kind of level on you, you know. And then you see the red in his eyes flicker back to blue. And he's like, what's going on? Decepticons. And he's like, Ash, get in.
I'm Marissa too.
Yeah, before I get in, I run over to Marissa
Uh-huh.
and I pull out my pistol.
Uh-huh.
And if Mohawk is going after her, I'm gonna open fire on him.
Okay. So, just for the sake of time, we are going to say you open fire. He's not really barreling down on her. He's like, yeah, we're free, you know, like he's kind of gloating a bit, but you do start firing at him, and you actually take out one of his, like, he's got these big, like, bulbous, almost frog-like eyes, and you take out one of his eyes, and he, like, lets out this shrill cry as he, like, spins around on the ground. He's like, my eye, stupid humans, get him, you know. And like, you grab Marissa and you're putting her into Sideswipe as all of this is happening, and you're just kind of laying, like, covering fire. And then we will go to the others, Andrew and everyone.
Remember, viewers, for the low cost of 300 bits, you too can introduce action and chaos into the mix.
I'm not above bribes. I'm not. And it keeps things interesting. It makes me think on my toes. So you back to those guys. Now, Gail, why don't you give me a spirit check? Wow.
Whoa.
Ooh.
You hear a voice in your head, and it's Sunstreaker's. He's like, Sideswipe, I just picked up your signal. Is that you? You're alive? And now, Ash, from inside of Sideswipe, you hear...
So I'm going to say really fast, too, as he gets in my head and tells me that, little fake port thing comes out, my space lasso, and goes into
like
Sunstreaker.
Uh-huh.
And Yeah.
We're all mind melded.
Yes.
Yes,
and
we're
so
mind melded.
now you hear this other voice as Sideswipe is tearing out of the KSI laboratory. Now getting you and Marissa out, and he's like, "Yeah, it's me. Where are you?"
And I would just like send him the coordinates. Like, it'd be really weird. I would like just be spouting off degrees really fast while my eyes are sort of rolling in, and it would just like transfer the message into like, computer language.
Right, and Sunstreaker's like sending you a location now. And it's like you guys are working in tandem. It's very strange. You calculate the coordinates, he sends them over, converting them to a language that they can understand. And you're hearing, Ash, you're hearing part of this conversation, and like this whole conversation going on the radio as Marissa is passed out in the passenger seat.
Sideswipe? Why am I hearing voices?
And he's like, "It's my twin. He's alive."
But I remember who his twin is.
Yeah, now that your memory's back, you would remember him being an Autobot. Now, he wasn't part of the Nest group, but he was hidden on Earth.
Brother's alive?
And he's like, "Apparently so. I thought he was dead. They're in Louisiana."
How far out are we from there?
He's like, "1 second, analyzing coordinates."
If you're in Dallas, that's about 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah.
I think. I'd have to actually look at it, but
Yeah, and he's like, "About 6 hours out. We could be there by daybreak."
Get the hell out of here.
And he like floors it. And with that, as you see the taillights disappearing into the night, we are going to call it there.
and with that, we have more trackers coming our way. Oh yeah.
And thank
Oh,
you guys so much for coming and joining our stream. I hope you enjoyed it. We will be back next week. We have now introduced a new character with Christian, which thank you for joining us there as well.
Thanks for having me.
Again, catch us tonight for our new game with quite a few guest spots. It starts at 9 Eastern.
Is that going to be the magical creepy high school?
No.
So at tonight they're doing a new system that's coming out called Survive This
Fantasy, yes.
And it's part of a whole system of Survive This games. This is just the fantasy version, and they're coming out with this. So we're functioning, or the GM table is functioning as kind of a beta test for a first run. They're coming up with characters that they're giving to them as like patron members who pay for like supporting this new play style or this new book or new game system. Will be able to have those as part of their their support. So they're running, I think they're actually having the person who created or at least wrote most of the book and the system into being DM it. I could be wrong. They may be playing, and Bobby may be DMing. I'm not entirely certain, but I do know that he is involved. And they'll have a number of other guest stars on there. And it's going to be running, I think they're hoping to run it for maybe 3 weeks just this month to kind of play test it. And then we'll decide next month whether or not that's going to be our Saturday night game. If it really draws a crowd and it's really fun for everybody to play, I think they'll probably continue that because we need a fantasy game on this stream. Let's be honest, all 4 of ours are kind of modern situation. So I think we want to go back to that fantasy, and starting a new game and working with them sounded like a lot of fun. So
Yeah.
that's what tonight's about. Obviously, you'll get a lot more information tonight, so
Mhm.
definitely check that out at, I think it's the same time as this Star Wars stream.
Yeah,
Should have been
9
8
Eastern.
Central.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yes, she is much better with the plug-in
Yeah.
and things. I'm
That-
terrible
that
at
is-
that.
That is hours from now for.
I'm gonna be like, now a word from our sponsor. Head it, Lyrica. And so, thank you guys for tuning in now. I hope that you all enjoyed it. I really did too. I'm excited to see where the story goes. Feel free to get involved whenever you see us playing. I like keeping up a chat and seeing what you guys think and want to see happen. Definitely keeps it exciting for me. So we'll have more character art coming, some NPC art. Hopefully our break screen will change to incorporate more of a slideshow for character art. So it'll have a brief bio with the full art that you see on the background, and as well as NPC art. So you guys be safe, and until next time, I will see you all later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.